As famous as Tuscany is, it still has some hidden gems to discover. And one of my personal favorites is the town of Sovana. It's a teeny tiny little town with a population of just over 100. But what it lacks in population, it more than makes up for with charm. And in fact, the medieval town is characterized by its central piazza, where I am right now, the Piazza del Pretorio, which is surrounded by these magnificent medieval buildings, beginning with the Palazzo del Comune behind me, built in the 13th century with these 3 windows and that surmounting belfry that you see. The Piazza del Pretorio takes its name from that building that you see behind me, the Palace of the Praetorian, one of the earliest examples of civic architecture that we have in Tuscany. Next to it, hidden behind those umbrellas, you have the Loggia del Capitano, which was also a kind of civic structure. We've already talked about the Palazzo del Comune, which you see there behind me in its characteristic belfry, and then next to it, one of the principal churches of Sovana, which is Santa Maria Maggiore, which dates to the 12th century, but contains this ancient, beautiful ciborium on the inside. And one of the more modern buildings in Sovana, and when I say modern, I mean 16th century, so 500 years old, is the palace that you see behind me, which is the Palazzo Bourbon del Monte, which was actually built under the reign of the Medici Duke Cosimo I. And everything here in Sovana is made exclusively of a stone called tufo, T-U-F-O. It is a type of volcanic stone, which underground is actually quite soft and mushy, but once it's exposed to the air becomes quite hard and an ideal building material. Consider that the entire town of Sovana is built on top of a tufo plateau. And on the outskirts of town, and what I mean by outskirts is just a few hundred meters away from the main piazza, you'll find the Aldobrandesca fortress. It was built in the 12th century, and in fact was the home of the most important noble family to come out of Sovana. And today is one of the most suggestive examples of medieval military architecture. And as much as I'd love to tell you that Sovana is characterized by its charming streets, there are actually only 2 roads, but they are beautiful roads, lined with medieval buildings and all of these spectacular flowers. The cathedral is dedicated to St. Peter and was built in the 12th century, but on top of an earlier 9th century church. And in fact, really the only portion of that older church that remains is this beautiful portal. And some of the decoration on this portal is rather extraordinary, including the relief here of the knight lifting his sword as he fights against the 2-tailed siren that you see here to the other side. A symbol which we also see in the nearby Etruscan necropolis just outside of Sovana, and alluding to the victory of Christianity over paganism. And Sovana's most celebrated native son was Pope Gregory VII. His real name was Hildebrand from Sovana. He reigned for 12 years in the 11th century, and he's most famous for his feuds with the Holy Roman Emperor Henry IV and his imposition of the vow of chastity on Latin Christian priests. And tradition maintains that this is the birthplace of Pope Gregory VII here on the main street of Sovana. And remember to like this video and to please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rocky's Italy, so that you don't miss out on any of this great content that we're filming here in Italy and publishing weekly.